Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Smoke Signals. I'm Matt Montgomery, along with head football coach and athletic director Wayne Coleman. Coach, big homecoming win, 34-18. It was a tale of two halves. First half wasn't very good. I know that you guys weren't very happy at the half, but man, it really came around in the second half. You got the turnovers, turned them into scores. Your overall impressions of the ball game?
We didn't play terrible in the first half. It was just we made mistakes at the exact wrong time. So we were moving the ball up and down the field and just not getting points out of it. So as much as we moved the ball the first half, the big penalties on the touchdowns kind of kept the game close.
Yeah, we'll see those in just a moment. There's nothing worse than having points taken off the board. When everybody's celebrating and there's a score and you see that little white hanky back and you just, that's frustrating.
It is, and some of that is mental mistakes, but also some of that is kids just being really aggressive and trying to maintain their blocks downfield. And we don't ever want to lose our aggressiveness. We want to work, and maintain our blocks. And the result of that sometimes is a yellow flag.
Well, it definitely paid off in the second half because being physical and being aggressive, you came out, you created 4 turnovers in the second half, and the first 3 you did convert into scores, which is, turnovers are great, but if you don't turn them into something, and they're really, it's just another possession. So, but you turn them into points.
Yeah, and it's always about explosive plays and turnovers. If you can win those 2 categories, if you win the turnover battle in a game and you have the most explosive plays, you're probably going to win.
Biggest improvement, Coach, I saw last week, offensive line. Really did a good job.
Yeah, we ran the ball better than we have all year. The kids have really stepped up on the offensive line, and that's our youngest group. Mm-hmm. And so they're starting to get a little more experience, and you can see the improvement.
Another good performance by your quarterback, Dontrell Session, had an outstanding quarterback rating. Very efficient, and a lot of times, Coach, I'm just noticing that these different packages that you're bringing in isn't disrupting his flows as the throwing quarterback, if you will. Deshaun came in at a couple of 6-yard touchdown runs, which we'll see here in a moment, but that doesn't seem to affect the scheme, or not the scheme, but the flow of the game, I should say, for your offense.
Yeah, you can tell a definite difference from the Palestine game, where when we started rotating Deshaun in, and Dontrell was a little less confident going in and out of the game, to this game. 2 games later, now we're kind of in a flow and a rhythm, and he understands, hey, I got to be ready. It's fixing to be 3rd and 10 here. I got to get ready to go in there and throw that rock.
Mount Pleasant in the second half started trying to throw the ball. Great coverage in your secondary. They struggled throwing the ball. They weren't that accurate, but still you had players there to make plays. And that's another area I think, Coach, going back from last year, there's a big improvement. You'd have some returning starters, but your secondary coverage is playing well.
Yeah, they are. And we actually had, we got 4 turnovers in the second half, but we actually dropped a couple of interception opportunities. So it could have been a really big half for us defensively. But overall, the kids, our coverage has been really well this year. But, that goes back to having good pressure on the quarterback. And there's a lot of times that we're forcing that kid in a bad throwing situation.
Yeah, you're sending guys off the edge, and of course Bacon Watkins and Pee Wee Fuller, returning starters, they're doing a good job getting pressure. And Shiloh Kennedy, the sophomore, every now and then Coach Kennedy will bring him in and put that pressure on the quarterback, and that does have an effect. Homecoming activities, we talk about this ad nauseum, but did it have an effect in the first half? Were kids not as focused, Coach, or was it just like you said earlier, just aggressive mistakes, which is a good thing?
Yeah, we moved the ball so well. We drove right down the field again. We stalled out there on the first drive. It's the first time this year that we didn't finish, a game-opening drive. But it didn't feel like it was affecting us. We played pretty good football the first half, except for a couple penalties just at the wrong time.
Well, it was a great crowd. The atmosphere was just tremendous. And I know after being on the road a couple of weeks, it was great to come home to Tomato Bowl and have the big crowd, the big field ball game.
It is. And, you don't think about it consciously, but in the back of your head, you're realizing there's only 2 more games left in the grass on the Tomato Bowl.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
There's only 2 more games. Looking at the bleachers the way they are now, that place is going to be an entire new place here after this season. So there's a little bit of nostalgia, in the atmosphere there.
lot of highlights in this ball game, Coach. You win 34-18. Let's take a look at some of those highlights now. Jacksonville versus Mount Pleasant. Of course, here's one of those penalties that called back a touchdown right here. This was to Chris Carpenter. What a beautiful throw and catch. Look at this catch. I mean, just went up and got it.
It looked like Larry Fitzgerald there.
He did. He just went up and just took it from him. Unfortunately, it was called back, and then here's another touchdown run by D. Spencer. Great run. Got to the edge and just used his speed, but got the penalty.
Yeah, that penalty was a little questionable.
But here's the next play after the penalty, Coach. Session hits Bush.
Yeah, we had been running the counter play a lot, so we went to play action off of it, the RPO, and Dontrell throws it right in there, and Bush makes a great run.
Yep, got a little chip block there at the end from one of your receivers. And here's Mount Pleasant's quarterback getting in from a yard out. Extra point got blocked, and it made it 7-6 after this touchdown. So it's 7-6 going in at the half, and then here's the well, let's see here where we're going. This is the 5-yard touchdown run. Excuse me, I skipped from Tyler Hines. That little kid could go, Coach.
Yeah, this is going to give them the lead here, and got a little scary there for a little while.
Yep, 12-7. They took the lead. Now here's the 6-yard run by Deshaun McEwen, the junior quarterback, coming in, and there's no doubt where he's going. He's going into the end zone. Quick first step there.
Yeah, when he turns the jets on, Deshaun can really go.
And here's a 5-yard touchdown run, almost a mirror image, same spot, same play. Get to the corner. Yeah, scores, puts Jacksonville up 21-12. You're breathing a little bit easier now, huh?
Yeah, we're feeling good about ourselves. The defense is starting to apply some pressure.
Here's Shiloh Kennedy with his second interception of his sophomore year. Picks it off, goes down and gets it. And what would a game be without a long bomb to Cade Chandler right here, 60 yards, right after the interception too.
Great job by Dontrell stepping up in the pocket, and Cade finishes it off.
Chandler's averaging 57 yards a catch. I mean, it's a pretty big average for him. And then here's T.J. Ratliff out of the Wildcat.
TJ's a real physical runner. He's done a good job for us in the red zone.
So that finished it off, 34-18 final score. Jacksonville gets the win. Coach, you go to 3-1. Same place you were at this point last year as Alvarado headed into Tomato Bowl. Now you go out to Alvarado, the 2.5-hour drive to Alvarado. And just for our viewers that are wondering, why is Jacksonville playing Alvarado in case they missed it last year? It was a kind of a schism in the schedule when the UL realigned a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they did the realignment in February a couple years ago, and when they passed out the packets, all of a sudden we found out that we were in a 6-team district, which nobody expected. And there's only in 5A there's a 6-team district here with us, and there's a 6-team district out in West Texas. So no other districts in the East Texas area were in a 6-team district, which means you're not going to be able to find a 6A or a 5A or a 4A school that's got a week 5 date open. So we had to leave the East Texas area and start looking for the closest 6A, 5A, or 4A schools that had a week 5 opening. I mean, you've got to find another district that has 6 teams in it that's also looking. Right. So we had to go all the way to Alvarado, and I think Corsicana and Ennis had to go towards Austin.
Yeah, Austin Del Valle is who they're playing, so and White House is going to Kennedale.
Yeah, so everybody had to go west to try to find somebody with an open date week 5.
Alvarado's a quality 4A team. I know coming into the ball game they are 0-4, but they've played some really good people.
They've got a strong program. They've got multiple playoff runs, and they play a really tough schedule. So
Alvarado, same offense that we saw last year. I know this is different for your coaching staff having to prepare, but again, as we've talked about before, it kind of prepares you for Ennis. But totally different look than what your first 4 opponents gave you.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about their program. They're different on the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. They run some different schemes. It makes them hard to prepare for in 1 week. So they're going to play power football on the offensive side, and they're going to run what's called a 3-3 stack on the defensive side, which nobody else runs, and it makes it hard to get ready for those guys in a week.
And I remember last year when they came to Tomato Bowl on that Saturday afternoon game, is that they very physical football team, which is another thing that gives you a really good look in preparing you for district.
It is. It'll help us get ready for the Corsicanas and the Ennis's, the schools that are a little bigger than we are, and so it's really a good tune-up game for us.
So what will you do offensively against that 3-3 stack?
Well, I think this year, last year we ran cam high a lot, and we ended up hitting a couple of big pass plays on them. So I think this year with our personnel packages, we're probably going to throw the ball a little bit more and try to lighten up the box before we run the football.
So through 4 ball games, have you noticed any teams in these first 4 games that said, hey, they don't have cam high, they can throw the ball, the deep ball? It still seems to be working, though. It doesn't seem like anybody's really loading up the box, or if they are, it's not working for them.
Yeah, it's unusual. We're a little different in that most people try to control the number of defenders in the box with quick passes out wide, screens and hot routes. And we're kind of taking a different approach. We're trying to take the top off and go deep and make our shots count. So far it's working.
And the number of players with touches, the different players with touches has to have doubled since last year.
Yeah, there's no doubt. We have really spread out the load of our offense, and which is good because if somebody gets banged up, we're not going to be really suffering as much as we were last year when Cam High got injured.
With a Saturday afternoon ball game, Coach, how's that changed your schedule this week?
We're going to follow the same schedule and just get an extra workout in Friday morning during the athletic period, so just a little extra tune-up run.
As you head into this last non-district game, other than Scooter Baker, you seem to have a pretty healthy team right now. I mean, everybody seems to be doing okay. A few bumps and bruises like everybody has. I'm talking about the things that, well, he won't be back for several weeks type of thing. I know Tay Baker's he's been out all year, but everybody seems healthy.
Yeah, we're looking pretty good. It's about as healthy as a person can expect after 4 ball games.
And a lot of people don't realize you guys still lift and you still have a lot of conditioning. I mean, people think that you do all that in the spring and the summer and then you start play football in the fall. Y'all have lift days during the season, so and that's part of staying injury-free, isn't it, Coach? Is making sure that you're still recovering and that you're still, testing yourself with weightlifting and things like that.
Yeah, no doubt. You have to. It's such a physical sport that you've got to keep your body in shape, and you got to keep you don't want to lose your strength levels that you've gained, the previous 8 months. So we try to get at least 2 lifts in a week with the kids and try to maintain all that hard work we did in the off season.
Defensively, what will your defense need to do to contain Alvarado? What do they do?
Yeah, they're going to play off-tackle power football. They're going to run toss. They're going to run bootlegs off of it. So we're going to have to tighten up our outside backers and bring them up on the line of scrimmage and really force them to throw the football.
It's a pretty good drive over there, Coach. What's the schedule Saturday morning getting over there? Because, after the long bus ride, you got to get out, you got to stretch, you got to get something to eat. Just a different routine for the kids. And, when you want your players to stay in a routine. And I love these Saturday afternoon games, but as a coaching staff, it really changes y'all's schedule too as a staff.
Yeah, it does. Normally on a Friday night game, we try to get to the stadium almost exactly 2 hours before the game. That gives us about 20 minutes to walk around the field, stretch our legs, and then start getting taped. With such a long trip here, I want extra time for the kids to walk around and wake up from that bus trip. So we're going to try to get there 3 hours before the game and give our kids time to wake up, feed them a light meal before we start our routine.
Yeah, last week was as blistering hot that you got last year. I think this year, my understanding is there's a little cool front coming through. The high is supposed to be 79, 80, so it may not be so bad, I hope.
I hope the weatherman's right this time.
Yeah, I hope he's right, because last year he wasn't. It was supposed to be like that. It was a summer day almost playing. So, Coach, keys to the ball game for your team to get this win?
We have to adapt defensively to their physical style of play, and that's hard to do when you've been playing spread football. It's really hard to make that adjustment. So we've got to get in the mindset this week defensively that they're fixed to try to pound the rock on us. And then offensively, we've got to make sure that we don't bang our heads against the wall, and we got to take our shots with our deep passing game like we have been doing, and keep executing.
Coach, last question. Last year you were also 3-1. I mentioned that earlier at this time. Where's this football team? Because last year's team ended up being a playoff team. Where would you? I know you don't like to compare, but you have a lot of same players from last year. You feel further along in the program now, even though you just have the same record and kind of at the same spot.
It feels like defensively we have come a long ways.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of. We knew we had a lot of returning starters on defense, so those kids are playing well. And offensively, we're still working to find our identity, but we're just in the last couple of games we've come a long ways to do that. So we feel good about it. Got a couple of really good kickers, so feel good about our kicking game. We just got to keep developing.
Jacksonville versus Alvarado. It's a Saturday afternoon game. We'll be on the air at 1:20 on 94.3 FM, The Bull. For head coach Wayne Coleman, I'm Matt Montgomery. We'll see you next time right here on Smoke Signals.